Have you ever sat in a room full of people, even friends or family, and felt like there was an invisible glass wall between you and everyone else? It is a heavy, quiet sensation. It's the feeling that you are an observer in a world where everyone else received a manual for belonging that you somehow missed. When you live with this chronic sense of displacement, your brain starts to adapt in fascinating and often exhausting ways. You develop specific habits to cope with the isolation, many of which seem perfectly normal on the surface. But underneath, these actions are often a desperate attempt to bridge the gap between yourself and the rest of the world. One of the most common habits you might notice is becoming a master of observation. While others are busy living in the moment, you are busy studying it. You watch how people tilt their heads when they are interested, the specific slang they use, and the unspoken rules of when it's okay to laugh. This isn't just curiosity, it is data collection. Because you don't feel a natural click with the group, you try to intellectualize social interaction. You might mirror the body language of the person you're talking to, or carefully calibrate your tone to match the room. To everyone else, you seem like a great listener, or someone who's easy to get along with. But internally, you are running a complex simulation just to make sure you don't stand out for the wrong reasons. You've become a social anthropologist in your own life, watching the data of human interaction rather than actually experiencing it. Another subtle sign is the habit of chronic apologizing. If you feel like you don't belong, you often view your very existence as an inconvenience to others. You find yourself saying, sorry for taking up a seat, for asking a necessary question at work, or even when someone else bumps into you in a hallway. This constant stream of apologies is a defense mechanism designed to shrink your presence. You are essentially telling the world that you know you're an outsider, and you promise to be as little trouble as possible. You feel like a guest in every room you enter, and as a guest, you're terrified of overstaying your welcome or breaking an unspoken rule. This sorry isn't about a mistake. It's a preemptive strike against the rejection you're certain is coming. Then, there is the role of the perpetual helper. When you feel like your presence isn't enough on its own, you try to earn your spot by being useful. You're the person who starts washing the dishes at a party, the one who offers to drive everyone home, or the person who spends the entire event organizing the snacks. By turning yourself into a service provider, you give yourself a role that justifies you being there. It's a way to quiet that inner voice that says, you're taking up space you haven't paid for. If you're busy being helpful, nobody can tell you that you don't belong because you've made yourself indispensable to the flow of the room. You are paying social rent because you don't believe you're allowed to just be. You might also find that you've become a social chameleon, but in a way that leaves you feeling even more empty. When you feel like you don't have a tribe of your own, you start to borrow parts of other people's identities. You might adopt the hobbies of a new acquaintance, or agree with opinions you don't actually hold, just to maintain the peace. It isn't that you're being deceptive, it's that you're searching for a version of yourself that fits. The tragedy is that the more you blend in, the more you realize that the person they like isn't actually you. It's just the reflection you've created for them, which only deepens the underlying loneliness. Hypervigilance is another exhausting habit. You aren't just sitting in a room, you are scanning it. You become a master at reading micro-expressions and shifts in body language. You are looking for the exact moment the vibe changes, or the second someone looks slightly bored. For most people, a lull in a chat is just a natural pause. But for you, it's a signal that you've said something wrong. This leads directly to always having an exit strategy. You might park your car in a way that ensures you can't be boxed in, or you're the person at the party who never takes their coat off. You stay near the periphery, prepared for the moment the illusion breaks. By being the one to leave first, you maintain a shred of control over the feeling of being left behind. Finally, many who struggle with this sense of isolation develop a profound nostalgia for a place they have never actually been. You might call it homesickness for a home that doesn't exist on any map. This often manifests as a deep connection to fictional worlds, historical eras, or specific atmospheres. You aren't just a fan of these things. You are looking for the frequency that matches your soul. You spend your life feeling like a traveler who accidentally got off at the wrong station and is now just trying to make the best of a layover that has lasted for years. The common thread in all these behaviors is the search for safety. You mask, you observe, and you withdraw because you are trying to minimize the friction between your true self and a world that feels foreign. But there is a hard truth to face. You cannot find where you belong if you are always hiding who you are. The very walls you've built to protect yourself are the same ones keeping your tribe from finding you. If you recognized yourself in these points, know that your longing for connection isn't a defect, it's a compass. It means you haven't settled for fine, and you haven't completely lost yourself in the performance. Belonging isn't something you achieve by changing your shape to fit a mold. It's something you find when you finally stop trying to fit into spaces that were never meant for you. It takes time and uncomfortable honesty, but eventually, you will find the place where you can finally take your coat off and stay a while.